Hello, this is Antoine with another episode of Out and Up, where we encourage young athletes to achieve their very best outside of the game. And like every show, we have another awesome guest, and y'all know how I do. I'm gonna go ahead and let her introduce herself.
Hello, my name is Holley Johnson, and I'm a senior at E. Smith High School, and I run track and field and cross country.
I appreciate you being with us, Holley.
Oh, thank you for having me.
So let's get right into it. You ready for the questions?
Yes.
Where are you originally from? Where were you born and raised?
So originally I was raised in Fort Benning, Georgia. And since I was military, I moved a lot. So I moved from Tennessee to Georgia, then to Texas, and then now North Carolina, where I've been for the past 7, 8 years.
That's awesome. And I like to ask every now and then, I ask guests that kind of, are in the military or families are in the military. What was that like, kind of traveling and getting to see different places?
When I was young, I traveled when I was younger, so it was kind of like more fun because, not everyone like has that group of friends. So you just kind of like just drifting, going from one school to the next. And so I really like learned about a whole bunch of cultures because when I was in El Paso, there was like a heavy like Hispanic and Latino culture there. So I really like embraced the cultures when I was like traveling with the military.
That's awesome. So let's get right into track. When did you start running track?
So I started running track this summer going into my 4th grade year. And I just been going ever since then.
All right. So what was the motivation behind starting in track?
Like the motivation was when I was living in Georgia, we had like a whole bunch of neighbors and they had like kids and we would just race each other in the neighborhood. And my dad saw I was like racing against the boys and actually like winning. So he decided to put me in track once he kind of got settled. So when we moved to North Carolina, he put me in the Fayetteville Flyers track and field team. And that's when I started.
All right. So you're currently at E.E. Smith. What are the distances? What events do you participate in?
So I can kind of do everything. Like I can range from the 1, the 2, the 4, the 8, and long jump. But my main events are the 400 and long jump. So, yeah.
All right. Have you played any other sports in your youth?
Yeah. So when I was younger, I did dance and cheer, and then I decided to stop to do track. And then this year, I decided to pick up on golf because we didn't have a big team, so I just wanted to try it out. Just see if I liked it or not. And I ended up liking it, and I just kind of did golf and cross country during that time.
All right. Do you have in sports? Do you have any favorite athletes?
My favorite athlete at the moment will probably be Gabby Thomas. She's like a 200-meter runner, and she ran for Harvard, and she ran the past Olympics. But I'm really inspired by her because she managed to maintain a STEM degree and then running professionally as well, and then inspiring others in the track community.
All right. Outside of sports, do you participate in any other extracurricular activities?
Yes, outside of sports, I cook on the side. Like I like to bake like sweets and things like that. I'm a part of the Zeta Phi Beta Arcanet's Youth Auxiliary, where we just do like a lot of community service and we do like a lot of community events catered around like the Zeta Phi Beta sorority. Yeah.
All right. So what are some other things you do in your spare time? What do you do to have fun outside of sports and school?
I like to shop. Like I thrift. So I just I found love for thrifting because I just like making someone else's thing like something that I would like to do. Like just recently I found like a pair of jeans that I really loved. And so I just like thrifting. I don't know why. That's like something I like to do outside of school. That's fun.
That's cool. That's cool. So you touched on the fact that you like baking. I have a daughter that loves baking. She also plays sports. Now, can that be a little tricky being a person that's into baking? Do you kind of get the baking, but then got to be careful and stay away from it to make sure you're not affecting being in shape for the sport that you play?
Yeah, I have to be careful because, it's all about moderation. So I can't eat like everything I baked at once. So I try to share amongst my family or friends just to make sure I'm not eating everything. Cause I still have to, maintain like my running shape as well.
All right. So you're in your senior year at E.E. Smith. What are some of your most memorable moments thus far in track and field? And maybe it can be in middle school, high school. What are some of your most memorable moments or some of your biggest accomplishments thus far?
My most memorable moment was probably my first ever race, and it was the 100-meter dash. And I was really, really nervous. So I got on the starting line, and the starter went off. He said, go. And I was running, and I went to the finish line, and I fell. And everyone was like, ooh, ooh. And I just remember my mom telling everyone just to clap for me to get up. And I got up, and I was like thinking about quitting, but then I just did it because now I'm here where I'm at now. So,
and you said it already, a kind of a moment that you've held on to and I guess use it in your motivation as you go forward in your other races. Is that the case?
yes.
That's good. You're you're in a few months, you'll be moving on to college. So for those that don't know, what school will you be moving on to?
So I committed to Fayetteville State University on a cross-country and track and field scholarship, and I'll be running in the CIAA conference.
That is awesome. And so let's give those that are not a part of, the Fayetteville area, not a part of Fayetteville State, let's let them in for a quick minute. When I say attitude check,
Bronco pride.
There we go. Those are for people that's in the Fayetteville State area, Fayetteville State home, any Fayetteville State alum. They know what's going on when they hear attitude check. So what was a part of you making that decision to go on to Fayetteville State?
So part of me making that decision to go to Fayetteville State was probably the family atmosphere and the academics as well. So when I toured the campus, knowing it was like in the same city that I've been in for the past 7 to 8 years, it was my first choice. But then after touring, I felt like I was a part of a bigger family, and just the students and the coaches really like took me in. Even when I wasn't a student or a committed athlete there, they just really made me feel like at home, and like they really made me feel like I was going to enjoy my next 4 years there.
All right. So during this process, what were some of the other schools you may have been looking at, or had interest from? What were some of the other schools that were in the mix during this process?
Some of the other schools were Wingate University, North Carolina Central. Let's see, I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Limestone University in South Carolina. And it was a school in Florida, Kaiser University.
Okay. All right. So you're moving on to Fayetteville State. What are your career goals, and what do you plan on majoring in as you further your education?
So I'm going to major. I did initially sign up for chemistry, but I decided to major in their pre-nursing program because they have a really well and competitive nursing program. And then after I graduate, I'm gonna figure out if I want to go through the med school route, the nursing school route, or maybe even the pharmacy route.
The awesome thing with this show, we have been blessed to have young athletes that are not only doing well, in the sport, but also in the classroom. Miss Holley, will you let those watching know what's currently your GPA in school?
My current GPA in school is a 4.44, and it should go up after this semester. So I'm fingers crossed that it goes up.
So what is it that motivates you to not only do well in the sport, but also in the classroom?
Something that motivates me will probably be my family, because they just help me with everything in my life, not just with just track, but with just every aspect of my life. They basically taught me how to be focused and to always strive for the things that I want to achieve.
That's good. We didn't touch on this earlier, so I'd like to touch on it just for those young athletes, maybe middle schoolers that's watching. Did you have a lot of obstacles, or did you face any obstacles transitioning from that middle school age track to moving on into high school? Were there any obstacles that you faced in that transition?
You mean like mentally or like physically?
From both ends, from the school end as well as even on the track. Were there some issues or any changes you had to go through transitioning on to high school?
Yeah, so as far as the academic side, I think it was just managing like the classes and like like the high school environment. Because when I started out, I felt like I was still like a middle schooler. So I kind of had to integrate myself into being a high schooler. So I was still like a little fearful, and I was trying my best to like act like, yeah, I'm a high schooler, still trying to fit in. So that was probably the hard part. And then like physically, well, mentally and physically, probably my mindset, because when I transferred from an eighth grader to a ninth grader, not high school track is different. So you're running against 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th graders. So I can be a 14-year-old running against 18-year-old. So mentally, I had to be like, I got this, I can do this, because I was running against kids that were older than me or was a little bit more developed than me. So I think like the most important thing is to have like a strong mindset and to just not give up, even when things may seem like a challenge. They're really not.
All right. So you touched earlier on one of the extracurricular activities that you take part in, doing community service. What just speak to the young person on how important it is to do community service or even find ways to give back to the community.
Giving back into the community is very important, because just seeing like what you're doing to the community, like even something as small as like picking up the trash or just going to like a community event, you just learn so much about your community that you didn't even know. Like just touching base on I recently I have to do like a polling event, so that's more like community. And I'm like starting to like learn more about my community and how like the government and the politics work. So I just think like giving back to your community is really worth it, and it's very important, especially as a student athlete or even just a student at all. So
That's good. That's good. I think it's just awesome when our young athletes just don't stay solely focused on being athletes, but they know it's about, helping in other areas, whether it's in the community, as well as being an example like Holley is being in the classroom. So I'm going to ask you, Holley, give a tip to that young athlete maybe watching on how to balance your academics with being an athlete. Like, what are some things you do to really balance staying on top of your grades as well as preparing and still training when it comes to track? What are some things you do to keep a balance?
the things I do is really time manage well. So I have like the reminders app on my phone. So anything important I need to do, like a paper, like a project, like something I know that I'm gonna need to be reminded on to start one, because sometimes I have a tendency to procrastinate. So if I set a reminder on my phone, it's gonna tell me like, oh, I need this right now. Because if I don't, I'm just going to procrastinate to the last minute. So I think that's one of the things I had to really learn not to do, because procrastinating just makes things even more stressful. So just, I guess, don't procrastinate.
Wow. So inside your home, you are blessed to have what I'll call a cheat sheet, and having a father who's also a track who's your track. He's actually your track coach, correct?
Yes.
So what is that like, having your father as a track coach? Is there ever any pressure over the years with having a track coach right within the home?
A lot of people think there's a lot of pressure, but my dad, he's honestly been like really like chill, because he's been to like coaching clinics where, he has seen athletes get burned out from their parents. So he doesn't want to see that for me. So kind of he's still a dad. He's still gonna push me, but he's not gonna push me to limits to where I want to quit or give up. So that's one of the things I love most about him me having him as a coach, because he understands me and like how I work.
That's good. That's good. How did that benefit you, having your father in the home as a coach? How did that benefit you during the time we went through with COVID and a lot of practices and things being shut down? How did that benefit you?
Well, it was a really great benefit, because he would take me out to the track and he would just give me workouts and he'll tell me what to do. And it was kind of like he was already my high school coach, but where some people don't have a coach like to train them, it was like kind of having my dad there really helped me improve on the next level. So that was a great time for me, because he was like right there.
That's good. That's good. So you're going to the awesome Fayetteville State University to be a Bronco. For some people, some kids, if they're not humble and stay grounded, they can already get the big head. Hey, I'm heading to this school. I'm heading to this school. How do Holley stay grounded and really focused on her goals?
Something, how I stay focused on my goals is remember that there's always someone better than me. So I never get to the point where I'm complacent, because I've been to levels where I know the talent. I know that I'm not there yet. I know I still have a whole bunch of things I need to work on. So I just stay focused, knowing that I have goals I need to meet because I'm not there yet.
All right. What are some goals that you set for yourself, even moving on to Fayetteville State? What are some goals you set for yourself?
Some goals I set is I want to be all conference my freshman year, and I want to qualify for the D2 Nationals. And then I want to maintain a 3.5 GPA or better going in my first year. And I want to make the president's list for like the student athletes, the ones that have like 3.0, because I've seen where they had like a little bulletin with their name saying like people that have like a high GPA while maintaining sports.
All right. All right. So as we round it up, we always like to ask this question. How important is it to keep positive people in your circle?
It is very important to keep positive people in your circle. I don't know how many times I can like reiterate this, because if you don't have like people that are in the same mindset or the same goals as you, it's very hard for you to grow as a person, because they're going to be there trying to pull you down. So I have learned to have positive people that have a positive impact on my life, because they essentially have helped me grow, and I can help them grow as well, because we're on the same pathway, the same mindset.
That's good. That's good. And final question, who is it or what is it that inspires you in life?
The person that inspires me in life will probably be my brother, because just seeing him, he just works super hard, and anything he wants, he gets. Like, he's gonna work 1,000 times harder than the next person. And he really like motivates me, inspires me. Even with him only be 11, he's really a role model to me. I think he thinks I'm a role model, but he's really a role model to me. And so I really cherish him, because we're like practice partners. We help each other out with each other's problems. We're really there for each other. And so I'm so happy to call him my brother.
That's awesome. And I said that was the last question, but I just want to ask you this. For that young person that may be watching, you're blessed to be on your way to an awesome university to continue your career. For the young athlete that want to play or run at the highest level, just give them some quick tips as we close on what they can do to really prepare themselves and get themselves through high school from a athletic end as well as academic end, so that they can put themselves possibly in the same position that you're in currently. Okay, so during track, like I had a whole bunch of, I had my ups, but I had a whole bunch of downs. So there was like majority of times when I was younger, I would think like I'm not good enough, that I would quit because I would not have good races. So I just say, even if you're facing like a hard challenge, or you think you're not as good as what you could be, just keep on pushing and keep on working hard, because you'll eventually break through that break point and you'll get to where you need to be. So I'm just proud to be in the position where I'm at, because a couple years ago, I didn't think I would even be signed to any university. So I'm extremely grateful and blessed. So I'm just saying, push through, work hard, and do what you're destined to do. That's good, Holley. So we have another awesome example. Young lady doing an awesome job in the classroom, as well as she's talked about her community work, and as well as what she's doing even on the track. And I think it is just awesome to always have examples like herself that's transparent and saying, it hasn't always been up. I've gone through my downs, but I kept pushing until now I'm in a position. She's heading to an awesome HBCU in Fayetteville State University to continue her career and be a Bronco. Holley, we wish you the best. We thank you for joining us. Thank you. As we always say with every show, it is good to be great in that sport that you're playing, but it's even better to be great in life. So we thank you all for joining us. If you're truly trying to achieve your best outside of the game, we ask that you continue to keep watching. Thank you for joining us again for this show. Now let's go out and up. Have a good one.